My name is Ray Fernandes. I'm a youth services librarian. I live and work in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I am defending the book Polar Vortex by Shani Mootoo. I just want to say a quick thank you to Frontier College for inviting me to be a defender on this year's Giller Lights celebrations. They do wonderful work providing literacy programs for people across Canada, and I'm happy to be a part of it. It's true. There were times I did feel something for him. Love, you could say. But this word love, it is a lightning rod that seems, especially in this instance, to have only one meaning. It is so much less nuanced than it should be. I did love him. How could I not have? It is true he had stronger feelings for me, but mine for him were only ever sisterly. Well, I suppose one could say my actions were not always sisterly. In a situation such as he and I were in, both for the first time in our lives, away from home and trying to make it out on our own, it surely isn't reasonable that I would have wondered whether or not my feelings for him were this romantic love I could see he felt for me. There were times, naturally, I had to try and see. For me, those times were clarifying, but I guess for him, they were confusing. Alex tells people it was my confidence, my unwavering sense of self that attracted her to me. In the early days, I'd tell her it was nothing but well-practiced posturing, calm on the surface, but paddling like hell beneath, I'd say laughing. But she'd think I was being modest, and this too she found attractive. And today, if I were to reveal that this man was so very much a part of my life, what would she think? Discretions and half-truths were par for the course in those early days, and she and I were courting each other. But how would they be perceived now? Um, Polar Vortex is about a lesbian couple, Priya and Alex, who live in the countryside on an island in Lake Ontario. Both artists, they met in Toronto, fell in love, moved in together, and decided to move away to this idyllic romantic landscape, living and working together, hidden away from the world. They share a love of art and nature, but are different. Different lives, backgrounds, cultures, experience, and past. Priya is an immigrant from Trinidad, while Alex exists within white mainstream Canada. The story begins when Prakash, a friend of Priya, who she hasn't heard from in many years, sends her a message. Just the three words, "Hi, write me." All of a sudden, Priya finds herself inviting Prakash for a visit, which sends her spiraling through a mountain of memories and a past that she has spent years hiding from. She has never told Alex about Prakash, the close but fraught relationship, and the connection they once had and still share. It leaves Alex wondering, who is this Prakash? Why is he visiting? Who is he to Priya? Why had she never mentioned him before? And what else is she not telling about her past? Prakash's re-entry into Priya's life reveals cracks in her and Alex's relationship. The book itself takes place over the span of a day with flashbacks to the past. Priya and Prakash, Priya and Alex, moments, conversations that define these relationships while Priya ponders what it all means. The book is about love, relationships, identity, sex, passion, secrets, the past, culture, immigration, family, coming out, intimacy, and memory. It covers so much of a person's struggles to figure out who they are, where they belong, and how we connect with others in our most intimate relationships. Polar Vortex is essentially a Canadian story. There are many discussions of identity and culture within the novel. Priya is an immigrant to Canada. She is of East Indian ancestry. Born and raised in Trinidad, she moved to Canada when she was 19 and struggles to fit into the white dominant culture. All her instincts and ways of knowing are challenged as she struggles to belong. She also struggles with her sexuality, which she has had to deny in her native Trinidad. But living in Canada allows her the opportunity to explore and accept her sexuality and coming out. It's a Canadian story. The setting for the novel is both urban and rural. Much of the book are flashbacks to Priya's university days in downtown Toronto, which offered a certain freedom to be a part of this new, exciting multicultural society, and finding a kindred spirit in Prakash, himself a Ugandan refugee with East Indian ancestry, both being able to share their drug journeys and struggles to fit in and connect. The book's present day is in a little island in the countryside where she lives with Alex, her partner, where she has the freedom to hide and to be the self she chooses, and which offers space and inspiration for her art. And typical Canadian in typical Canadian fashion, much of the talk in the book is about the weather. It's a Canadian pastime and a major theme in Canadian novels. And there's lots of passages about the cold. The book itself takes place in the dead of winter. Polar Vortex is an exploration of intimate relationships, the things we reveal about ourselves to those we are closest to, and the things we hide. Priya keeps many secrets. There's a scene where Alex finds a box of photographs of Priya's, and as she's looking through them, she realizes she doesn't know any of the people in them, and the person she loves most in the world simply hasn't told her. And why has she kept these secrets? And you want to be upset with Priya for all the secrets she keeps, but then you realize there's a certain survival instinct in this, certain traumas that we keep hidden away, that we all carry these secrets. It's not your typical love story, and the writer's focus is on Priya's experiences within love. The book is about the struggle to understand oneself and one's relationship to the past. It's written in first person, and Priya goes over again and again the past and all the intimate details of her relationship with Alex and Prakash as a way of understanding herself. It's a contemporary story as well. The idea to move away to this island was Priya's idea. It was a way of hiding for Prakash and his advances, and she stayed hidden for 5 years, cutting herself off from all social media and contact essentially with the world. It was only when she opened a Twitter account that Prakash was able to find her and contact her. This novel has special meaning in this time of Me Too, in this time when we have social media that has influenced even our most intimate of relationships. So what I loved about the book, I loved the writing it is honest, intimate, and personal. It's written in first person, but it's not written in any kind of confession. It's a struggle of Priya digging to try and understand herself. Later in the book, the narrative reveals Alex's perspective on the relationship and helps illuminate the simmering tension. There's lots of flashback in the book, which highlights that time is not linear, and the past truly does shape our present. The author, Shani Mootoo, is a visual artist, and I think you get a feel for this in the poetry of the writing. It's just lovely. The characters are human and flawed, not likable at times, but definitely relatable. It's a simple story. The novel takes place within the span of one day, but the story is complex, rich with emotions and conflict. There's lots of tension in this book. The novel itself reads like a thriller that leaves you gripping the page at times. I loved its discussions of identity, how the idea of identity becomes increasingly complex and fluid in today's society. Priya is an East Indian Trinidadian, but also Canadian, an artist and lesbian, whose identities and the way they overlap help instruct her personality. It's a beautiful book, so well written, and I loved its honest portrayals of relationships. Shani Mootoo is a Canadian writer, visual artist, and video maker who lives in Prince Edward County, just outside of Toronto. She's of East Indian ancestry, who was born in Ireland but grew up in Trinidad. She moved to Canada, earned her BFA at Western and an MA in English and theater from the University of Guelph. She's written 5 novels, a book of poetry, and a book of short stories. She's won numerous awards for her writing. 2 of her previous books have been longlisted for the Giller, and another book has been shortlisted. I just want to say thank you to Shani Mootoo for her novel, the gift of her novel, and the journey she took me on when I was reading its pages. And I want to say thank you to Frontier College for inviting me to participate, to the other defenders. I wish we could all meet and chat in person, and to you watching this this video. And good luck to Shani and the other Giller nominated novelists. I wish you could all win. Thank you.